Hey everybody, Mike here with another installment practical income investing. You know, most traders think that they have to predict the market perfectly. They think that they need to know exactly where the SPX is going, where it's been, how's it going to finish. But option sellers look at the market a little bit differently. Um, with the right defined risk, the goal is not always to be perfect, right? So sometimes the goal can be create a trade where several different outcomes could possibly happen. So that's what this video is going to be about. And this is actually the start of what I'm calling the SPX Income Strategy Lab. I'm going to be breaking down this right now in a beginner friendly way. We're also going to be respecting the risk because all strategies are not magic, right? This is they're structured, they're predictable, they're disciplined, and they're controlled. So sit back and get a piece of paper out. This is where you can take notes. And honestly, this strategy, I use this strategy every day, sometimes three, four, 5 times a day, depending on what the market's giving me. So this is a big one for me, and it's going to spawn um, a whole aspect of practical income investing. Again, SPX Strategy Lab. Here you go.
Just a quick reminder before we begin, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Anytime you're dealing with investing or options, make sure you do your own research and make your own decisions. The big shift with option selling is this. You may not need to be exactly right. It doesn't mean that the direction doesn't matter, because it does, but with certain defined risk premium strategies, you may be able to structure the trade around an expected range instead of like a perfect directional prediction. So instead of saying, SPX has to go exactly here, the question becomes, can SPX stay inside a reasonable range long enough for the trade to work? That's a very different way to think about it. And for a lot of traders, that's where the light bulb starts to come on. Every trade usually faces five basic outcomes. The market can move up big, the market can move up small, the market can go sideways, a little choppy, the market can move down small, or it can move down big. And most directional traders are trying to pick one of those outcomes. But an option seller is often trying to structure the trade where more than one outcome can still work. For example, depending on the structure, sideways may be ideal. A small move up may still be fine. A small move down could still be good. Even a controlled move in one direction can still be good. The danger is usually the big, fast move that overwhelms the structure, but that is why trading isn't magic. It's structure, probabilities, and control risk. Option sellers do not always need to be perfect. The direction doesn't always have to be perfect. They need a structure. And that structure usually comes down to those four things. First, range. Where can the price reasonably stay? Second, a time decay can work in your favor as a seller. The risk control would be the third thing. Like, what a max loss are you comfortable with before you even enter? And then the fourth thing would be discipline. Like, will you actually follow the plan that starts if it moves against you or if it moves around? The last one matters more than people think, because a strategy can look really good on paper, but if you panic and you oversize, if you move stops randomly or hold losers too long, the edge is going to disappear. Trust me, I've been there. I've done it. So yes, direction still matters, but listen, with defined risk premium selling, it's not the only thing that matters. So this is where the 4 out of 5 idea comes from. In the right setup, an option seller may still win if the SPX goes a little up, or if the SPX goes sideways, choppy. They still can win if it goes down a little. And then they still can win if SPX simply stays inside of that expected range, a range that you would set before your trade based on certain technical analysis ideas and strategies. That is a very different. That's very different from like needing to call exactly the direction perfectly. But here's the important part: the danger zone is big, fast move. If SPX moves too far, too fast against your structure, the credit you collected may not be enough to protect you. So, this is where you want to position your size, positioning size is going to matter. That's where your exit rules are going to matter. That's where the trader can get in trouble if they confuse that high probability with zero risk. There's no such thing as zero risk. No option strategy will ever be risk free. So, why do I use the SPX for this strategy lab? There's a few reasons. So, SPX options are extremely liquid. You're in and out on almost every single trade instantaneously. And that matters because the fill is going to matter. Where you feel your entry and exit points are going to be. They're settled in cash, meaning you're not dealing with options that could be assigned. They're called European style options, which means there's no early assignment risk. You can't be assigned early. They have multiple expirations. They give traders more ways to structure time frames. They actually have daily SPX trades. They're useful for like defined risk education because if you could build a clear structure with known maximum risk before you enter the trade, that's where you want to be. Now that doesn't make SPX easy. SPX can move fast and it can punish bad sizing. Trust me, and I've been punished. So don't think that there's no risk. You have to respect the risk. But as a teaching vehicle for defined risk option selling, SPX is one of the cleanest places to build this framework around. So different markets need different tools. This is one of the biggest mistakes newer option traders make. They learn one strategy and then they try to force that strategy into like every single market. But the market conditions should come first. Like if the market is calm and range bound, an iron condor would be like the perfect trade to make because you're betting on a range. If the market's pinning or volatility is low, an options like an iron butterfly would be like the perfect possibly scenario or trade to make for that. It collects more premium near the center point, but it's less forgiving. If the market has like a controlled directional bias, if you think the market's kind of gonna grind up slowly, maybe pull back and keep going up, a broken wing butterfly may make sense to you because it can lean in one direction while still keeping the defined risk. So if the market is wild, unclear, moving too violently, sometimes the best trade is no trade. And that's not weakness, that's just discipline. The goal is not to trade every single day. The goal is to trade when the setup actually deserves your capital. There's a lot of times during the day that I will be placing these daily, several times a day at times, depending on what the market gives you. But the goal is to preserve your capital. Don't be a statistic. A high win rate does not automatically mean low risk. In fact, a lot of option selling strategies can win often and still be dangerous if the losing trades are not controlled. You can have 10 small winners. You could feel like the strategy is working perfectly. It's what I do, by the way. And when one oversized or poorly managed loser can wipe out your entire string of wins, this is why I don't want to teach this as like some easy income shortcut. It's not what it is. The real edge is not just selling premium. The real edge is having a repeatable plan. Where do you enter? Where do you exit? How much are you risking? What market conditions are you trading? What are you staying out of? The plan's going to matter more than the trade. And trust me, one trade that you mismanage can absolutely wipe out a long string of winners. This was one of the biggest things I learned early on in my options trading career that really it really hurt because you're like win and then boom, one loss and then it takes you right out of the game. Don't do that. Manage your position sizes and stay disciplined. So that's why I'm building this SPX Income Strategy Lab. The goal is to build a repeatable process. So no random trades, no guessing, no chasing. It's a real process. First, identify the market conditions. Second, choose the strategy that's going to actually fit those conditions. I mean, if you're in a kind of a trending upward kind of market, a broken wing butterfly is going to be your trade. Third, define your entry rules. Fourth, define your exit rules. Fifth, like control your risk before the trade is even entered into. And sixth, most importantly, know when not to trade. I actually started a video yesterday about a trade that I didn't make. Maybe I'm going to try to see if I can incorporate it into this video series. But I actually made a video on I didn't trade, which was something a little bit different. But because sometimes the best risk management decision is just simply staying out. The goal is not to make more trades. The goal is to make cleaner trades and to eventually have a system where you can make weekly and monthly income with a relatively small amount of capital and do it in the safest way possible. So this video is just the starting point. The next part of the series, we're going to break down like actual structures, iron condors, iron butterflies, broken wing butterflies. The difference between a 0 DTE and a weekly trade. And most importantly, the risk management rules that keep the strategy from becoming reckless. So because the structure matters, the process is going to matter more. If you're interested in learning how defined risk SPX income strategies work, this series is where you're going to be building that next step. This is where you're going to be able to learn and define how this strategy is going to work for you. And not only that, but I actually made an entire plan. I think it's 69-page booklet. There's actually going to also be a trading journal that's going to come out with it, specifically designed for my SPX Strategy Lab. So if you enjoy this content, please like, share, comment. We appreciate you. See you next time.